The extinction event. Commander Ilara Way stood at the viewport of the UES horizon, her face bathed in the crimson light of Helios as she stared at what remained of humanity's most distant colony. Her hands trembled against the cold metal railing, knuckles white with tension. Where Helios 7 once thrived with nearly 2 million colonists, now there was only debris. A graveyard of shattered infrastructure, frozen bodies, and dreams turned to dust. "Take us closer," she ordered, her voice steady despite the rage building within her chest. Lieutenant Kato hesitated. "Commander, there's still significant radiation. We should maintain safe distance for." I said, "Take us closer." Ilara's words cut through the bridge like a blade. "I want visual confirmation. I want to see what they did." As the horizon drifted through the debris field, the ship's sensors painted a clearer picture of the devastation. The colony hadn't just been attacked, it had been systematically exterminated. No distress calls had been sent. No evacuation ships had escaped. The Vexari Dominion had struck without warning, without mercy, and with terrifying efficiency. "Why?" whispered Dr. Amara Singh, the ship's xenobiologist. "We had peace treaties with the Vexari, trading agreements, cultural exchanges." Ilara's jaw tightened. "Minerals. The surveys we sent last month confirmed a major deposit of quantium beneath the southern continent. The Vexari must have intercepted our transmissions. Quantium isn't worth genocide," Kaido protested. "To them, it is." Ilara turned away from the viewport, her eyes dark with purpose. "Send the holorecord to Earth Command. Full spectrum analysis, radiation signatures, weapon profiles, everything. And prepare a personal message from me to accompany it." As her crew scrambled to obey, Ilara retreated to her quarters. The message she composed was brief, emotionless, and would change the course of human history. Helios 7 confirmed destroyed. 2 million dead. Vexari energy signatures identified. No survivors. No warning. No mercy. Earth must respond. In the sprawling command center beneath Geneva, the United Earth Defense Council sat in stunned silence as the holographic images of Helios 7's destruction played on the central display. The room, normally filled with the efficient buzz of military operations, was quiet enough to hear the soft hiss of the air filtration systems. Admiral Hideki Takano, Supreme Commander of Earth's Defense Forces, stood rigid as a statue, his weathered face illuminated by the red glow of the destruction. Beside him, President Liana Mbeki of the United Earth Government watched with tears streaming silently down her face. "How many?" she finally asked, her voice barely audible. 1,873,412 colonists, replied General Santos, reading from his tablet, plus another 6,000 transient visitors and crew from trading vessels. President Mbeki closed her eyes. Nearly 2 million souls. The Vexari left no one, Admiral Takano confirmed. Their attack was methodical. They targeted population centers first, then infrastructure, then life support systems. Anyone who survived the initial bombardment would have suffocated or frozen within hours. Around the table, the 12 members of the Defense Council exchanged glances. They represented every continent, every former nation-state of humanity. Their differences were legendary, their agreements rare. But today there was unity in their grief and in their rage. The Vexari Dominion has 300 major colonies spread across 78 star systems, said General Emma Chen, head of strategic operations. Their military outnumbers ours by approximately 3-to-1 in ships and 5-to-1 in personnel. "So we can't win a conventional war," stated President Mbeki. Admiral Takano stepped forward. "Madame President, with respect, I didn't say that." The room fell silent again as all eyes turned to the Admiral. "The Vexari believe us to be technologically inferior, numerically disadvantaged, and, after centuries of peace, militarily complacent." A cold smile touched his lips. "They are correct about some of these assumptions, but not all." The Admiral gestured, and the holographic display shifted to show Earth's orbital shipyards, massive structures that encircled the planet like gleaming metal rings. For decades, they had been producing civilian vessels, science ships, and the occasional military patrol craft. But hidden within these mundane activities was humanity's greatest secret, Operation Aegis. Admiral Takano continued. Initiated 40 years ago after the Proxima incident, 700,000 warships, constructed in secret compartments within our civilian shipyards, and then hidden in the asteroid belts of uninhabited systems. Gasps echoed around the table. 700,000. President Mbeki repeated, incredulous. How was this kept secret? Compartmentalization, shell corporations, black budgets, and the assumption by every alien species that humans are fundamentally incapable of keeping secrets from each other. The Admiral's expression remained grim. The ships are fully automated, requiring minimal crews. They're armed with our latest weapons technology we've deliberately kept hidden from galactic patents and trade agreements. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then President Mbeki stood, her decision made. Activate Aegis, she commanded. The Vexari Dominion has declared war on humanity through their actions. We will respond accordingly. Admiral Marcus Chen gazed at the holographic display aboard the UES Retribution, Earth's newest and most advanced command ship. At 53, Chen had spent more than half his life preparing for a war he had hoped would never come. Now, as he reviewed the deployment plans for humanity's hidden armada, he felt a complex mixture of dread and grim satisfaction. The Vexari don't know what they've awakened, commented his executive officer, Commander Diana Reeves. No one does, Chen replied softly. That was the point. The deployment was happening with astonishing speed. From hidden bases throughout Earth's solar system and beyond, vessels of war were emerging like locusts from dormancy. Destroyers, cruisers, carriers, dreadnoughts. Each one a marvel of human engineering, each one built for a single purpose: to ensure that what happened to Helios 7 could never happen again. Primary strike force will be ready in 72 hours, reported Strategic Operations Officer Wei. Secondary and tertiary waves will follow at 24-hour intervals. Total deployment time, 120 hours. Chen nodded. And the Nemesis Protocol. Wei's expression tightened. Ready, sir, though I maintain my ethical reservations about. Noted, Chen interrupted. Let's hope we don't need to use it. The Nemesis Protocol was the darkest of humanity's secrets, a weapon system that could target specific genetic patterns across an entire planet. It had been developed after the Proxima incident, when humanity realized how vulnerable they were in a galaxy filled with older, more advanced civilizations. Sir, Commander Reeves said quietly, the Vexari homeworld has nearly 12 billion inhabitants. Chen met her gaze steadily. And Helios 7 had 2 million. If the Vexari wanted proportional responses, they shouldn't have committed genocide. He turned back to the holographic display, expanding the view to show the entire galactic arm, where the Vexari Dominion held sway. We're not going to exterminate them, he assured Reeves, but we are going to ensure they can never threaten humanity again. The galaxy needs to understand something fundamental about our species. And what's that, sir? Chen's eyes hardened. That humans forgive, but we never forget. On Earth, humanity prepared for war with a singular focus that belied their usual fractious nature. Production facilities that once manufactured consumer goods now churned out military supplies. Citizens volunteered in droves for military service, their grief for Helios 7 transforming into resolute determination. In orbit, Earth's hidden armada assembled, a vast cloud of metal and weaponry that blotted out the stars. Ships of every size moved into formation, their engines glowing blue against the blackness of space. Inside each vessel, skeleton crews of humans worked alongside advanced AI systems, preparing for the journey that would take them across hundreds of light years to Vexari space. At the United Earth Parliament in Geneva, President Mbeki addressed humanity one final time before the fleet departed. Fellow citizens of Earth, today we stand at a crossroads in human history. For centuries, we have sought peaceful coexistence with other species among the stars. We have traded fairly, shared knowledge freely, and respected boundaries carefully. But our openness has been mistaken for weakness. Our desire for peace has been interpreted as fear. The Vexari Dominion's unprovoked destruction of Helios 7 was not just an attack on a distant colony. It was an attack on every human being. It was a statement that our lives have no value, that our existence is dispensable. Today, we answer that statement with one of our own. Humanity will not be extinguished. We will not cower. We will not plead for mercy from those who showed none. We go to war not with hatred in our hearts, but with the solemn responsibility to ensure that no human colony ever again faces extinction. The road ahead will be difficult, but we walk it together, united in purpose and resolved in action. To the Vexari Dominion, and any who would threaten humanity's existence, you have gravely miscalculated. You believed us weak. You will learn how strong we truly are. As her words echoed across Earth, and to every human outpost across the stars, the massive armada began to move. Like a metal tide, Earth's 700,000 warships surged toward the jump points that would carry them to Vexari space. Operation Nemesis had begun. Humanity was going to war. In the cold depths of space, near the edge of human-controlled territory, Commander Ilara Way watched from the bridge of the UES horizon as Earth's armada passed by in an endless stream of military might. The vessels moved with perfect precision, their formation an intricate dance choreographed by AI navigators. "I didn't know we had this many ships," Lieutenant Cato said quietly beside her. "No one did," Ilara replied. That was the point. Her ship had been ordered to join the fleet, one more vessel in humanity's vast armada of retribution. As she watched the warships flow past her viewport, Ilara thought of the frozen bodies she had seen among the ruins of Helios 7. She thought of families destroyed, futures erased, lives ended without warning or chance of escape. "The Vexari believe they know humans," she said, more to herself than to Cato. "They've studied our media, our history, our conflicts. They think they understand what we're capable of. And they don't." Ilara turned to face her lieutenant, her eyes reflecting the cold light of distant stars. "They know we fight. They know we kill. What they don't understand is that humans are at their most dangerous not when we're fighting for conquest or resources or even survival." She paused, watching as the mighty dreadnought UES Retribution moved past, its hull bristling with weapons that could lay waste to entire continents. "We're at our most dangerous when we're fighting for justice." As the horizon took its place in the formation, the massive fleet accelerated toward the jump point, a shimmering tear in the fabric of space-time that would carry them across vast interstellar distances. One by one, then in groups, then in massive waves, Earth's ships vanished into the jump point, bound for Vexari space. The hunt had begun. Retribution unleashed. High Commander Zex Terrell of the Vexari Dominion stood in the observation dome of the orbital citadel Ketverish, watching as the defense fleet assembled around his homeworld. 4,000 warships, nearly half of the Dominion's total military strength, formed a protective shell around Vexaria Prime, their energy shields creating a faint iridescent shimmer against the blackness of space. "Excessive," remarked Science Director Nev Sarai, her scaled fingers tapping against the crystalline railing. "The humans have 20 cruisers at most. Even if they send everything they have, our automated defense systems alone could handle them." Zex Terrell's secondary eyelids flickered, the Vexari equivalent of a dismissive snort. The defense minister insisted. Apparently, some intelligence officer raised concerns about unusual activity in Earth's asteroid belts. "Paranoia," Nev Sarai said. "The humans are technologically primitive, politically divided, and numerically insignificant. The Helios colony was an irritant, nothing more." Their quantium surveys threatened our economic stability. And now their quantium is ours, Zex Terrell agreed. A regrettable necessity, but the Dominion's needs must come first. A soft chime interrupted their conversation. The High Commander touched a control panel, and a holographic display materialized before them. It showed a junior officer, his scales pale with stress. "High Commander," the officer said, his voice tight. "Jump point activity detected at the edge of the Thorvesh system. It's significant." Zex Terrell's head tilted in annoyance. "Define significant, Sub-Commander." "Multiple vessels, sir. Human signatures. They're still emerging from the jump point, but current count is over 8,000 vessels and climbing rapidly." The High Commander froze, his reptilian features locked in an expression of disbelief. "That's impossible. Verify your readings." "Already verified, sir. Multiple sensor platforms confirm." "And sir," the officer hesitated, "the vessels appear to be exclusively military in nature. Warships, all classes." Nev Sarai stepped closer to the display, her scientific detachment giving way to alarm. 8,000. The humans don't have 8,000 ships of any kind, let alone warships. 15,000 now, sir, the officer updated, his voice barely a whisper. Still emerging from the jump point. High Commander Zex Terrell gripped the railing, his claws scraping against the crystal. "Alert the Defense Minister. Full military mobilization. I want every ship we have at battle stations." As the officer hurried to comply, Zex Terrell turned to Nev Sarai, his normally confident demeanor shaken. "What have we done?" he asked quietly. The science director had no answer. Admiral Marcus Chen stood on the bridge of the UES Retribution, watching as the holographic display updated in real time. Earth's fleet had emerged from the jump point at the edge of Vexari territory, and now nearly 100,000 warships were in formation, with thousands more arriving by the minute. "Vexari Defense Fleet is mobilizing," reported Commander Reeves. "They're pulling ships from all their colony worlds, trying to create a defensive perimeter around their core systems." Chen nodded. "As expected. Status of Phase 1 targets. Designated and locked, sir. Hunter-killer groups are ready to deploy." "Execute Phase 1, Chen ordered. Across the vast human armada, specialized strike groups detached from the main formation. Each consisted of several hundred ships optimized for speed and stealth. They accelerated toward their targets, Vexari military installations, shipyards, and defense platforms scattered throughout the outer systems of the Dominion. Meanwhile, the main fleet continued its inexorable advance toward the Vexari homeworld. Unlike conventional military invasions that relied on speed and surprise, Operation Nemesis was designed to be deliberate and methodical. The humans wanted the Vexari to see them coming. They wanted them to understand, with growing horror, the magnitude of their miscalculation. "Sir," Commander Reeves said, "we're receiving a transmission from the Vexari High Command." Chen raised an eyebrow. That was faster than anticipated. On screen, the holographic display shifted to show High Commander Zex Terrell. The Vexari leader's scales had paled considerably, and his eyes darted nervously as he took in the human admiral. "This is High Commander Zex Terrell of the Vexari Dominion," he began, his translator converting his sibilant speech into crisp English. "Your fleet's incursion into our sovereign territory constitutes an act of war. We demand your immediate withdrawal." Chen's expression remained impassive. "This is Admiral Marcus Chen of the United Earth Defense Force. Your unprovoked destruction of Helios 7 and the murder of nearly 2 million human colonists constituted an act of genocide. We are not here to negotiate, High Commander. We are here to ensure that such an act never occurs again." Zex Terrell's secondary eyelids flickered rapidly, a sign of extreme agitation. The Helios colony was violating treaty agreements by surveying for quantium deposits in a restricted zone. "We issued warnings. No warnings were received." Chen cut him off. "No opportunity for evacuation was provided. No mercy was shown. Accordingly, we will extend the same courtesies to you." The Vexari leader's composure cracked further. You cannot hope to defeat the Dominion. We have allies, technological superiority. You have 36 hours to evacuate all civilian populations from your military installations and government centers. Chen continued as if Zex Terrell hadn't spoken. After that time, we will begin systematic neutralization of your capacity to wage war. The Admiral leaned forward slightly. To be absolutely clear, High Commander, we are not interested in your surrender. We are not interested in negotiations. We are interested only in ensuring that the Vexari Dominion will never again pose a threat to humanity. Without waiting for a response, Chen cut the transmission. Commander Reeves glanced at him. Think they'll evacuate their civilians? They'll try, Chen replied. But they won't have enough time or ships to complete the job. He turned to her. Make sure our targeting systems prioritize military and government targets. We're not here for revenge, Commander. We're here for justice. Reeves nodded, though her expression suggested she understood the fine line between the two concepts. The first strikes came exactly 36 hours later, precisely as Admiral Chen had promised. Across Vexari space, human warships unleashed devastating barrages against military installations, shipyards, and defense platforms. The Vexari had spent those precious hours evacuating government centers and military bases, moving as many civilians as possible away from likely targets. But their efforts were hampered by panic, by the limitations of their transport capacity, and by the sheer number of targets the humans had designated. From the command center on Vexaria Prime, High Commander Zex Terrell watched in horror as reports flooded in from across the Dominion. The humans were not behaving as expected. Their attacks were precise, methodical, and overwhelming. They weren't attempting to occupy territory or seize resources. They were simply destroying anything that could be used to wage war. The shipyards at Ketveresh are gone, reported Defense Minister Tol Raxus, his voice hollow. The orbital defense platforms around Nenverik and Suthkare have been neutralized. We've lost contact with the 3rd and 7th fleets. Counterattack status. Zex Terrell demanded. Our ships are engaging. But the defense minister's scales paled further. The humans have technologies we've never seen. Energy weapons that bypass our shields. Drones that infiltrate our systems and turn our own defenses against us. And their numbers. How did they hide so many ships? Science Director Nev Saray, who had been analyzing the battle data, looked up from her console. It appears the humans have been systematically concealing their military capabilities for decades. Those civilian shipyards around Earth, they were building warships inside what appeared to be commercial vessel construction facilities. That's impossible, Zex Terrell scoffed. We had spies, surveillance. We would have known. Would we? Nev Surai challenged. We studied their open communications, their public records. We never considered that they might deliberately maintain a facade while preparing for war in secret. She hesitated. It seems the humans learned from history, just not their own. They learned from ours. Before Zex Terrell could respond, a lieutenant burst into the command center. High Commander, the humans have broken through our defenses at Vex Terrell Prime. They're targeting the defense grid. Zex Terrell felt his heart's pound with rising panic. Vex Terrell Prime was not just any colony world. It was named after his ancestral lineage, a symbol of his family's centuries of service to the Dominion. Evacuate the capital, he ordered. Prepare my personal ship. The defense minister stared at him in shock. You're abandoning the homeworld. I am preserving the leadership of the Dominion. Zex Terrell snapped. Someone must survive to negotiate terms. As the High Commander hurried from the command center, Nev Sarai watched him go, contempt evident in her gaze. Then she turned back to her console, continuing her analysis of humanity's unexpected military prowess. Perhaps, she thought, there was still something to learn from these supposedly primitive beings. Commander Ilara Way stood on the bridge of the UES Horizon, watching as the battle unfolded around Vex Terrell Prime. Her ship was part of a strike force targeting the planet's orbital defense grid, a network of platforms that, until today, had been considered impregnable. "Target locked," Lieutenant Kaido reported. "Firing solution ready." "Fire," Ilara commanded. The horizon shuddered slightly as its main batteries unleashed a barrage of energy weapons. The beams struck an orbital platform with surgical precision, overwhelming its shields and cutting through its armor. Within seconds, the massive structure began to break apart, secondary explosions rippling along its length. "Direct hit," Kaido confirmed. "Platform neutralized." Ilara nodded, her expression grim. Since joining Admiral Chen's armada, she had participated in dozens of such strikes. Each one was executed with clinical efficiency, each one bringing humanity closer to its goal: the complete dismantling of the Vexari Dominion's war machine. "Commander," called the communications officer, "we're receiving a priority message from Admiral Chen's flagship. All ships in this sector are to divert to these coordinates." She transferred the data to Ilara's command console. Ilara studied the new orders, her brow furrowing. "That's moving us away from the primary target." "Yes, Mom," the officer confirmed. "The message indicates a high-value target has been identified. A Vexari vessel attempting to escape the system, believed to be carrying senior leadership." A cold smile touched Ilara's lips. "Set course for the intercept coordinates. Maximum speed." As the horizon changed direction, joining dozens of other human warships in pursuit, Ilara thought again of Helios 7, of the bodies floating in the void, of lives ended without warning or chance for escape. "No mercy," she whispered to herself, just as they showed none. High Commander Zex Terrell's personal vessel, the Dominant Will, accelerated away from Vexaria Prime, its engines training at maximum output. Accompanying it were 3 cruisers from the elite Sovereign Guard, the finest ships in the Vexari fleet, crewed by the most loyal officers. "Jump drive charging, High Commander," reported the pilot. "We'll be ready to make the jump to safe space in approximately 8 minutes." Zex Terrell paced the command deck, his claws clicking against the metal flooring. 8 minutes. If they could evade the humans for just 8 minutes, they would escape, and with them, the legitimate leadership of the Dominion. "Multiple human vessels on intercept course," announced the sensor operator, her voice tight with tension. "Estimate 50 ships, closing rapidly." 50. Zex Terrell hissed in disbelief. "They're committing that many ships just to pursue us." "The humans appear to have identified your vessel, High Commander," the tactical officer explained. "They seem determined." Zex Terrell felt a cold dread spread through his body. The humans knew who he was. They knew he was trying to escape, and they had diverted a significant force to ensure he didn't succeed. "Order the escort vessels to engage," he commanded. "They are to buy us time at any cost." As the 3 Sovereign Guard cruisers peeled away to confront the pursuing human fleet, Zex Terrell retreated to his private chamber. There, he accessed a secure communication channel, one that bypassed the ship's regular systems and connected directly to a very specific recipient. "This is High Commander Zex Terrell," he said urgently. "The situation has deteriorated beyond our worst projections. The humans have revealed military capabilities far exceeding our intelligence assessments. The Dominion is facing existential threat. Invoking Protocol Omega. Repeat, invoking Protocol Omega." He paused, then added, "May the ancestors forgive us for what we have done, and for what we must now do." Admiral Chen was reviewing the latest battle reports when Commander Reeves approached him with an urgent expression. "Sir, our infiltration AIs have detected an unusual transmission from the Vexari command ship," she reported. "It was heavily encrypted, but we managed to partially decrypt it. It referenced something called Protocol Omega." Chen's head snapped up. "Get me everything we have on Vexari contingency protocols. Now." As his staff scrambled to comply, Chen felt a growing sense of unease. Throughout the campaign, the Vexari had fought with predictable tactics and expected technology. But there had always been the possibility that they had one last card to play, a weapon or strategy save for the most desperate hour. "Sir," called a tactical officer, "we're detecting unusual energy readings from multiple locations across Vexari space. They appear to be some kind of automated facilities activating." Chen's unease blossomed into alarm. "Show me." The holographic display shifted to show a map of Vexari territory, with dozens of points glowing ominously. Analysis data scrolled alongside each point, indicating massive power buildups and radiation signatures consistent with weapons systems activating. "They're planet killers," Chen realized, his blood running cold. "Dead man switches. If the Dominion falls, they're programmed to launch automated attacks against targets." The tactical officer's voice was grim. "Based on their trajectories, sir, the targets appear to be every human world within range." For a moment, the bridge of the retribution fell silent as the implications sank in. The Vexari, facing defeat, had activated a system designed to ensure mutual destruction. If even a fraction of those automated weapons reached their targets, billions of humans would die. Chen's mind raced through the options. They could try to destroy each facility, but there wasn't enough time. They could attempt to shoot down the weapons after launch, but the risk of missing even one was too great. There was only one option. "Activate the Nemesis protocol," he ordered quietly. Commander Reeves looked at him sharply. "Sir, are you certain? Once deployed, it can't be recalled." "I'm certain," Chen replied, his voice heavy with the weight of his decision. "We came here to ensure the Vexari could never threaten humanity again. This is the only way to guarantee that now." As Reeves moved to carry out his order, Chen turned back to the holographic display. On it, he could see the Vexari command ship still fleeing, pursued by human vessels including Commander Wei's Horizon. "All ships pursuing the Vexari command vessel," he transmitted. "Disengage immediately. I repeat, disengage immediately. Return to designated safety coordinates. Nemesis protocol has been activated." Aboard the UES Horizon, Commander Ilara Wei received the transmission with shock. "Nemesis protocol." Lieutenant Kato echoed. "What's that?" Ilara's face had paled. "It's classified." But if Admiral Chen has activated it, she took a deep breath. "Helm, disengage pursuit. Set course for the safety coordinates, maximum speed." As the Horizon and the other pursuing ships veered away, Ilara watched the Vexari command vessel on her tactical display. High Commander Zex Terrell would think he had escaped, that his elite guards had somehow managed to drive off the human pursuers. He would never know how wrong he was. Throughout Vexari space, from the homeworld to the farthest colony, an invisible wave of destruction began to spread. The Nemesis Protocol, humanity's darkest secret, had been designed as the ultimate insurance policy. It used the quantum entanglement properties of modified quantium to create a chain reaction that targeted specific technology. Not people, not planets, just technology. Specifically, it targeted the unique molecular structure of Vexari power systems, the crystals they used to generate energy for everything from their smallest devices to their largest warships. As the quantum waves spread across Vexari territory at faster than light speed, every power system in the Dominion began to fail. Ships drifted powerless in space. Defense platforms went dark. Cities lost power. And most critically, the automated planet killer weapons that had been about to launch at human worlds shut down, rendered inert by the same technology that had been meant to ensure the Dominion's survival. On the dominant will, High Commander Zex Terrell watched in horror as his ship's systems failed one by one. The lights dimmed, life support sputtered, and the engines died, leaving the vessel drifting helplessly in space. "What's happening?" he demanded, but his officers had no answers. Within hours, the once mighty Vexari Dominion had been reduced to a pre-industrial state. No communications, no transportation, no weapons, no defenses. The Nemesis Protocol had done what 700,000 warships could not have accomplished through conventional means. It had rendered the Vexari completely and utterly harmless, without killing a single civilian. 1 week later, Admiral Marcus Chen stood before the United Earth Defense Council, delivering his final report on Operation Nemesis. The Vexari Dominion has been effectively neutralized, he stated. Their military capability has been reduced to zero. Their technology base has been set back by approximately 300 years. We estimate it will take them at least a century to rebuild to even a basic industrial level. President Mbeki leaned forward. And the casualties? Minimal on both sides, Madam President, Chen replied. We lost 87 ships and approximately 2,000 personnel during the conventional engagement phase. Vexari military casualties are estimated at 15,000. Civilian casualties from collateral damage are estimated at under 5,000. And the Nemesis Protocol itself? No casualties. None, Madam President. As designed, it affected only their technology, not organic life. The council chambers fell silent as the members absorbed this information. Operation Nemesis had been a resounding success, a strategic victory unlike any in human history. With minimal loss of life, humanity had neutralized an existential threat and established itself as a power to be reckoned with in the galaxy. What about recovery efforts? Asked Councillor Dias. Are we providing aid to Vexari civilians? Chen nodded. Relief ships are already en route, carrying medical supplies, food, and basic necessities. They will arrive within days. And High Commander Zexteril? Inquired Admiral Takano. Captured alive, Chen confirmed. He will stand trial for the genocide at Helios 7. President Mbeki rose from her seat, signaling the end of the briefing. Admiral Chen, Commander Wei, and all who served in this operation have the gratitude of Earth and all humanity. You have not only avenged our fallen, but you have ensured our security for generations to come. As the council filed out, General Emma Chen approached Admiral Chen privately. The galaxy will never